a servant's heart. Welcome to the podcast. Steve Ramona. Business with a servant's heart. Listen to the podcast. Steve Ramona. We're all about to talk on life. Our guest will share his life story. We want you to success in life. We're ready and we will start shortly. We're gonna talk on life. We're gonna talk on business. You're gonna shine bright. We are gonna witness. Business with a servant's heart. Welcome to the podcast. Business with a servant's heart. Listen to the podcast.
Along the way, right? Even before this, when he was rebuilding sort of his website, before he sort of understood how to portray himself, I sort of helped him with that by saying, let me ask you a question. How many people do you think, young men, do you think you've spoken with over a period of, since you started, in the groups of 5s or 10s that you've spoken with? And he's like, I don't know. I'm like, well, you sort of need to know that because I would have that number on my website. In fact, I might even have a number that clicks up all the time because as you keep doing this. So he ends up coming back to me and he realized he spoke to probably 6,000 people. So that's an astonishing number that's not on your website. So if you go on VPG, Visionary Financial Group, and go donate, $10 or $5 or whatever you want to do with, if you got more money, fine. You'll see the numbers are up there. So it's been great working with him, helping him. And that's something I've always wanted to sort of do because you got to give back, you got to help people. So it's just one story of many, that I can mention.
I want to invite you into the Business Network, my free school community for entrepreneurs and business owners who want to grow their network and scale their business. Inside, you'll get step-by-step lessons, monthly workshops, feedback, scripts, resources, bonuses, and a community of like-minded people who believe in helping each other win. Join us today at school.com, the Business Network, or click the link in the description and click Join Group. I'll see you inside.
Welcome, everyone, to Doing Business with a Servant's Heart podcast. I'm your host, Steve Ramona, and relationships. I'm 65. My guest, I think, is 40. He's a little bit younger than me. Half kidding, but he knows that. We get to know each other very well. But we're going to talk about those relationships. And as a servant's heart, we think we need to serve everybody, even in our relationships, whether it's business and life. We don't have to. I've released and let go of a lot of people. And my guest will talk about that. He's done the same thing. Because we want to keep that inner circle really close-knit and people that we can connect with. And we all change, so our relationships will change with that as we go through the journey of life. Before we start and bring our guest on, here's the gratitude for today. Every day is a fresh start, and I know you'll make the most of it. Every day is a fresh start. Not tomorrow, not yesterday. Every single day. And this is my guest to a T. Can't believe how these cards pull up my guest perfectly, but let's bring him on. Michael, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me on. I appreciate your time and everyone else who's going to listen.
Thank you. And we talked about an impact. Tell us a story that one of the biggest impacts you've had in your life so far.
There's so many. I do a lot of things sort of for free or on the come to help people. But maybe 3 or 4 years ago, I was at a charity event of an ex-trader on the floor who made it huge, and he was running the Alliance for Decision Education. And I met what I thought was a young man there in his 30s or 40s. In reality, was in his 50s. His name was Jenin, spelled N-Y-E-N-E. And then the next year I came back, he was there again. And I'm like, we started talking even more. And he is a former incarcerated person who spent 15 years in federal penitentiary here in the United States, transferring amongst all the facilities every 6 months or a year for drug charges. And he had come out, redeemed, built a 501c3 where he was talking to at-risk youth about what really goes on. And these at-risk youth were in the inner city of Trenton, primarily African-American young men who were gangbanging and thinking this is their way out, which, based on all the music and everything else, seems pretty exciting. But in reality, he would speak to them, small groups, fives, tens at a time, to explain to them what prison was like and what really goes on in life, and how you're either going to be prison or dead or maimed or something like that. So he was looking for some help. He asked me for some help, and I joined his advisory board a little over a year ago. Along the way, we worked on a lot of EQ things. What do I mean by that? Like, he's going to events and he's pitching and he's getting Google to throw him money and he's winning the Russ Berry Award and different things. Like, people are starting to throw money at him because there's a lot of charities and a lot of money from all these companies that are trying to find a home. I had been trying to find a nonprofit for a long time, something that hit home, something here in New Jersey, something that I understood. I was pitched a lot of LBGQ. I don't understand it enough to say I can add that much value. I understand it, but like, not something I thought I could add value. So when this came along, I'm like, yeah, I'm in. And, I have to give him time and I don't get compensated. In fact, I donate on a monthly basis a small amount of money as part of what I think is the right thing to do. But along the way, we spoke about lots of things, like when you're at a crowd and there's hundreds and hundreds of people to meet, how to meet these people, how to get their contacts, how to quickly bob and weave and not spend too much time with people that you think are the big check writers, because you can pick them up another time. So more like EQ stuff. I mean, he's a smart guy, didn't go to college, but he's street smart, he's personable, he's reasonably good looking. He's a nice guy. You wouldn't be scared around him or anything. But he's built VPG, Visionary Philanthropy Group. And more recently, he actually became certified in New Jersey to be a private education facility where he has 25 desks set up with Chromebooks and headphones, and they teach kids to code and Coursera courses. But along the way, there was lots of bumps and hurdles. And at one point, he sent out an email to everyone affiliated talking about how he thought that the people that were certifying him in New Jersey were screwing with him because he's a ex-con, and that they were out for him. And they were asking for something that he had given them before, and he was just sick and tired of waiting this long to get approved. And I got him on the phone on it was a Saturday or Sunday, and I'm like, listen, they are not discriminating against you. They are equal discriminators. I said, if you walk into a New Jersey motor vehicles place, look around at all the people, tell me anyone who's ever gone in there who is happy with the service and happy with the timing and happy with dealing. My wife recently went to get the federal new ID thing. She had to come back 3 times. She was fuming, like they were just whatever. So I said to him, these people are not screwing around with you. I said, I think they're screwing around with me because, contrary to what you may believe my age, I am actually older than you.
Wow.
So I think people are screwing around with me because they're like, this old guy, what does he know? We don't care, like that stuff. I said, but that's neither here nor there. I said, they just don't work efficiently. They're not happy. They don't have bosses that are helping them, do things properly. I said, just send them an email. Here is what you're looking for. If you want a reference that you sent it to him again by that particular email and that date, you can. I wouldn't. I would just say, here's what you're looking for. Let me know what else you need so I could get approval. He's like, I needed that. Thank you. And I'm like, just keep, like, if they ask for it a third time, just send it to them a third time. I said, they just don't care. They're not an efficient thing. They're not smiling, like, kind of thing. And he is now approved. But along the way, right, even before this, when he was rebuilding sort of his website, before he sort of understood how to portray himself, I sort of helped him with that by saying, let me ask you a question. How many people do you think, young men, do you think you've spoken with over a period of, since you started, in the groups of 5s or 10s that you've spoken with? And he's like, I don't know. I'm like, well, you sort of need to know that because I would have that number on my website. In fact, I might even have a number that clicks up all the time because as you keep doing this. So he ends up coming back to me and he realized he spoke to probably 6,000 people. So that's an astonishing number that's not on your website. So if you go on VPG, Visionary Financial Group, and go donate, $10 or $5 or whatever you want to do with, if you got more money, fine. You'll see the numbers are up there. So it's been great working with him, helping him. And that's something I've always wanted to sort of do because you got to give back, you got to help people. So it's just one story of many, that I can mention.
It's a great story you share because relationships and servant heart. I talk all the time about giving stuff away for free, your time, money, whatever that looks like. Why are you doing that, for example, in this story? Why are you giving stuff away for free?
Not everybody has the opportunity to see things properly or to get things done. They're influenced by lots of things. My wife sometimes says to me, "Will you stop doing that?" And I'm like, "It'll just come. It'll just come back. Like I don't care. Like it's just time." So I answer almost every LinkedIn request. Sometimes I'll just say not interested. I had three. I had one young lady come into me. Ends up she's like a freshman in high school, and she asked for some help. They're doing a fundraiser, so I gave them 20 minutes. I send them a calendar link. They book in. It's her and her two girlfriends. They're giggling the whole time. They're very, very cute, and they're like, "We're trying to raise money for a charity." I'm like, "All right, explain to me like what the charity is and how you're going about this." And they explained it to me. My daughter graduated Penn State. They do a thon there. I remember how they did things, and I've raised capital myself and things like that. So by the time they get done, I'm like, no, no, you're doing this completely backwards. I said, you're not understanding like how to get money out of your local town. So I explained to them how I would do it, and how they should do it, and they were ecstatic about that and came back to me eventually with an email saying how well it went and things like that. So like you help people, people are going to help you. You just never know what it is. I'll tell another story. It was a winter, maybe 10 years ago here, and there was 5 feet of snow on the ground. I was in my Suburban coming home somewhere or something like that. And I saw a guy slipping and sliding on the side of the street, and I rolled my window down. There's no other cars there. And I'm like, "You want to ride?" He's like, "Oh my God, thank you." And I gave this guy a ride. I didn't even know who he was in town. Like I dropped him there and I did him. And I think I met him like 8 years later. And he's like, "Oh my God, you're the guy who gave me a ride." I never got a chance to thank you. I'm like, yeah, like I don't know. It was like you look like you're sort of looking around like help me, like I
Yeah.
might die out here kind of thing. So I don't know. It's the right thing to do. It's what we sort of do at Gilder. I run a community with a millennial and a Gen Zer, Brian and Tiger. We started 3 years ago out of the burning down of uh, an accelerator that I mentored at and they worked at. And that's part of what we do. We're charging a subscription, it's $59 a month, which I think is dirt cheap, but we're regularly helping people. We're regularly meeting with people. So I can charge, like if you were a family office or something, I'm going to charge you 500, $1,000 an hour, like to talk to me. I'm an exited founder. I've built businesses, failed, and this, that, like just so much going on there. I'm a FINRA arbitrator. I'm part of InfraGard, the FBI public-private thing. I'm like, doing lots of stuff. I'm working 6, 7 days a week. So they sort of for $59 get a chance to even network with me for 20 minutes or 30 minutes. Like it's a real value, but we're helping all these pre-seed, seed, and Series A companies. We're not getting rich over it. We're not going to be a unicorn, but it's starting to get pretty interesting. Like we're starting to get enough people in there that they're all meeting, they're all networking. We run innovation roundtables, executive workshops, huddles, speed networking, one-on-one introductions. So, it's going well. So this is all part of like helping people build things because it's really hard to do that.
Yeah, and free doesn't always have to be free. It could be inexpensive, where you're absolutely right. You could charge 199, 299 a month for that easily, and people would still do it. And what I love about your stories, you're still successful. After all this giving, all this inexpensive, you're still success. It doesn't affect your success, right?
I look at success completely different than most people. It's not a monetary thing, although you think it is when you're 30. Um, I have a crazy story. I probably never told anyone. I'll tell this here. I was 6 years old, living with my mom and dad were separated. My mom had living with us what I would call a neo-Nazi who was beating my brother and I over nothing, like physical beating. And she eventually dropped me and my brother Eddie, who's 2.5 years older than me, at her sister's house and said, I'll be back, and never came back. 6 years old. My dad got custody. We moved to North Jersey. I had vowed then to have a family and have two parents there the whole time. I was without a mom my whole life. I did have a stepmom. She brought in her sort of family, a little Brady Bunch thing going on, but it wasn't the same. Um, so fast forward many years, I am a father to three children. I have a son who's doing great, and two twin fraternal daughters, one of which just had twins herself. So now I am a grandfather to uh, babies that are 32 days old. So I am rich with friendship, rich with family. And I always used to say to them, I don't care how much money or how little we have or where we live. I would be happy just to be living and be around you. And I think that's the most important thing. Protect your family, be with your family, do the right thing. Um, Pick up the phone, talk to your friends, see what's going on, help them be there, do the right thing. And that's all work, right? Like keeping a family and friendship and stuff like that, that's all work.
It is, and thank you, because that is a great sign of success. Let's talk about pruning of relationships. That's what I call it. As you get older and you meet people, how do you prune the people where it's just not a fit anymore, or weren't a fit? Well, you get just release them. I call them release them. Because I know a lot of people ask me, how do you do that? How do you do that, Michael?
I am more of excise the cancer. I cut it out. I had a friend, we'll call him Nathan. So Nathan and his wife and me and my wife had Lamaze class together 34 years ago, or something like that. And we became kind of friends. I eventually made an investment in his company, which was very unsuccessful. Um, but along the way, we were, friends. We sort of grew apart, and the kids weren't that friendly, but I would always speak to him on a regular basis. And when I'd speak to him, he was trying to help me in various endeavors I had as a consummate businessman. And every time I got off the phone with him, I felt like shit, to be honest with you. Like I just didn't feel good. Like he made me not feel good. He was making me feel inept and things like that. And eventually I said to myself, you know what? I'm done with this. Like in my mind, so the next time he called, I said, "Hey, Nathan, how you doing?" He goes, "I'm doing good." I said, "I'm going to speak for about a minute and a half." I said, "Please don't interrupt me." I said, "But when I'm done, you'll understand." And I said, we've known each other forever. I've invested in your company. It hasn't worked out. That's fine. Like that's, part of risk of doing things. I said, but something that I'm not happy with is every time I get off the phone with you, I feel bad. I don't feel good. I feel not right. And I've decided at this point in time that there's no value in the relationship for me. So after I hang up here, I am never going to call you again. And I would expect, hopefully, you don't call me again unless there's some emergency and you need me. And for that family thing, something like that, I'll come running, if something happened. But other than that, we're done. I wish you all the best with you and your family and everything else, but I'm going to hang up now. And I hung up. So to me, there's nothing wrong with what I did. I could have just blocked him or not, but I wanted him to understand what was going on. Maybe the value to him in hearing that may make him change or do something, whatever. Um, I regularly take my phone, I have thousands of contacts in there, and I actually go through them twice a year, A to Z, looking and saying, hey, who haven't I spoken to in a while that I know? And let me reach out. During the holidays or different holidays, I might reach out and say happy holidays or happy Hanukkah or Merry Christmas or whatever, or whatever it might be. And then just try and carry on the conversation and see where they are. A good friend will not say to you, hey, I haven't heard from you. How come? What's going on? A good friend will say to you, oh my God, how you been? How is, and name your children or what's going on or tell me or keep me up. That's that. And they're happy to chat. Life goes by fast. I think Ferris Bueller from from his movie has something, you have to smell the roses. Life is like a roll of toilet paper. As the end of the toilet paper goes down, it's spinning faster and faster. And people like, what does that mean? I'm like, well, when the roll is this big and you pull off 5 sheets, it's twice around, but down below, maybe it's, 8 times around or whatever it is. And it's a math thing, actually. When you're 10 years old, 1 year is 10% of your life. So 1 year takes so long to go. When you're 50 years old, it's a small percentage of your life. So it starts to go by quickly. So if you're not doing what you want to do, or you want to do something else, there's plenty of time to do this. Most of my friends are kind of retired. I have zero interest in that. There's too much going on with AI and all the stuff I'm doing, and it's super exciting to me. And also, I wanted to keep my brain alert. So if it wasn't for this, I think I'd go to Trader Joe's or Home Depot and take a job or something like that, just to be around people and do things. I like Trader Joe's. I go in there, they walk me to everything, even though I don't want them to. I see
Yeah.
people that are 80 years old, and I see people that are 18 years old with tattoos on their face and things hanging off of them and stuff. Like, it's like, to me, it's like all encompassing. So it's fun.
Melting pot. Well, we come close to the end here. Let's get to know Michael. I know you're an expert now, and you've proved it to us what you do in relationships and with your business. Let's get to know you personally. So I fly out to Jersey where you are. I want you to pick your favorite restaurant. We're going to go out to dinner. I want you to invite 3 people, whether dead or alive, who made an impact on your life. And I want you to order the food because I'm a foodie. What food would you order for the table?
I'm probably going to where am I going? To Gian Marco, a local in town. They cook everything fresh. It's Italian. You have to wait for everything. Who am I inviting? I'm probably inviting, he's passed away, ex-father-in-law, my brother's first wife's father, Al. He's the guy who opened my brother up to trading on the floor. And I sat in the back of the car in the late 70s, still in college at 6 in the morning, which was ungodly, to learn, listen to how he was trained to trade on the floor. His first year, then he had made what I thought was a lot of money, 80,000 a year. My dad had worked for a company for 25 years, making 40,000 a year. And I'm like, this is interesting. Like, I thought it was really cool. I got on the American Stock Exchange, and I saw what was going on. I'm like, I like this. Like, this is really cool. And that changed my whole career trajectory. I was going to be a pharmacist because my uncle Albie, I liked him a lot. So I'm inviting Al. I don't know. I guess I'm inviting my wife of 38 years. Like, she's been there the whole time through thick and thin. I'm a cancer survivor. I lost a kidney. She was there. She's the one who actually, when they diagnosed me on a gurney, like in the hospital in the emergency room, like, your kidney's got to come out. You have cancer. And walked away. We both looked at each other like, what the F did that person just say? Like, what kind of bedside manner is that? And she got us an appointment very quickly with who we needed. They tried pushing her out like months, and she's like, nah, it's not happening. Like, we have to come down there. And lo and behold, because of that, when he did show me the CAT scan and I could see that the kidney was filled with cancer. It was pretty obvious to me. And he said, "Do you want a second opinion?" Being a trader and trading with limited information as it was all the time, this is pretty clear to me. Like I didn't understand what the second opinion would do. And thank God I said no, because we booked the hospital and had it cut out maybe a week later or something like that. And we were locked down for COVID for 6 or 9 months and nobody did anything. Had I gotten a second opinion, I never would have got the operation. The cancer definitely in my mind would have spread. So kudos to my wife of 38 years, who is now spending the month down in North Carolina with my daughter and her husband, cleaning, cooking, washing, feeding babies, burping babies, cleaning up spittle all over the place and loving it. So that's my second person. And my third person might be, and I hate saying this because there's some people will be like, oh, he's a whack job or anything. Might be the greatest entrepreneur in the history of mankind, Elon Musk. A guy from PayPal, invested in 3 companies, kind of weird. But if you listen to his podcast, how he thinks and what he does, it's just amazing to me. He's now got a company worth trillions. He's changing the world for the better in the most part. And just to get some time with him and thinking, I remember reading a story about they were flying in his jets somewhere, and he said, are they taking down that data room or something? And they're like, no, they can't get to it. And he's like, no. And he turned the jet around, and he himself went there, and they started pulling up floor panels with his people, like taking down the data room himself. That's something, not learning from him, but something I've done my whole life. Sometimes you got to do what you got to do. I remember when we were building Investments, it was a digital wealth management platform. We failed at it because the founder's wife got pancreatic cancer. It was a death sentence, and he had to go and try and do what he had to do to like, I can't blame him. Like I would do that in a heartbeat, because family first. But I remember having meetings in our office here in Chatham, New Jersey. And before that, I would sort of like, we'd order some food in or whatever it was. We wanted it to go well. We'd clean up the little conference room. And I remember walking into the bathroom and looking like, this is ugly. Like, I wouldn't want to come in here. And I remember seeing a bunch of paper towels and stuff on the ground. And I just cleaned it up. Like, I picked it up with my hands, threw it in the garbage, sort of cleaned up the area, tried some stuff. Because I wanted them, if they walked in there, to not think we're animals and living like this. And I know they know that, but I didn't want them to feel skeezed out coming in there. Wash my hands, be done with it. That's that. As an entrepreneur, you have to do lots of things that you don't want to do or need to do. So no, so that would be my my dinner there. And I think I'm probably ordering they make all the stuff is homemade, or made fresh. So I'm probably ordering. They have a great rigatoni with a bolognese sauce there that my son dies for. But no, I wouldn't know. There's lots of things on the menu that I'd like.
Yeah, fantastic. Thank you for being an incredible guest. Real quick, how can people connect with you?
You can find me on LinkedIn under Mike J. Frank. And actually, we are having Gilder, as part of what we do. We put on innovation roundtables, executive workshops, and all sorts of other stuff on a weekly basis. But we are having a Gilder AI panel, and it is August 20th at 11 a.m. CST time, or noon New York time. And Dirk, Nicholas, and Jay, 3 guys building AI, are going to talk about strategy for developing AIs that deliver. And if you go to my LinkedIn, you can see a link there in the comments for you to sign up, or you can hit me up and come join the 30 or 40 other people who have already registered to go listen to what people are really building. If you are not understanding what's going on in AI, and you're in business, or you're thinking of going in business, you are missing out on something bigger than electricity was for the human race, something bigger than the computer was for the human race. This is game changer. It's here, it's coming, it's continue to come. You're not going to stop it. And it's changing how everything is built. And whatever you were thinking of building, where you might have needed many engineers and many dollars you can now almost build overnight. The real hurdle now, or the real mode, is distribution, is getting customers and not necessarily building. But come listen to what they're doing.
Michael, thank you. That sounds wonderful. Sign up. We'll have the links in the show notes, and subscribe to the YouTube channel. Reach out to Michael about his YouTube channel. And me and Michael want to thank all of you for watching or listening to this podcast. And we'll see you all in the next episode of Doing Business with a Servant's Heart. Have a great day, everyone.